Welcome back to Mental. Today our guest is Jason Fry. And before we get into this, I just want to say a little bit about a couple of things here. So one is NWO. If you're looking for IT services or protection for your company's software, hardware, or anything in between as far as if you need to get cameras for your building, if you need keypads for your entry, NWO is a one-stop shop for all of your technology needs. Not only do they have impeccable customer service, but when you call them, you get somebody right there in your own town. You get somebody that's going to pick up the phone and you talk to a human. So ironically, the best way to deal with the AI future is to talk to a person. You get that with NWO. So give them a look today. As well as wanted to take a moment to talk about TRT and HRT treatment. Prime Performance offers TRT and HRT treatments and much, much more. Specifically IVs for recovery, IVs for health. We're going into the winter time. If you want to boost your immune system, you can get that done at Prime Performance. It's more than just a boost in the gym. It's a total body wellness that helps you keep balance and emotional duress from creeping in during the times of the winter when this is really something that onset depression happens when it gets cold, right? We're not in the sunshine. So check out Prime Performance today. My guest today, Jason Fry. He does some hard stuff. Jason, you got a hair right here that I can see in the light. Yeah, other side. You felt it when you brushed?
No.
It was stuck in that gorgeous beard.
Oh, look at you.
So you do coaching.
Sure. Yes.
Of all kinds, right?
Yeah.
So for those of you who may not know what Jason does, can you tell us a little bit about how you coach? Because there's a verity, if you will, there in what you do, right?
Yeah. Leadership is the prime piece, because we all notice that a lot of the issues that go wrong are as a result of leadership.
Okay.
The way I coach, the way I focus on an individual is either internally or externally. So if I'm improving somebody's leadership, I need to either do it from them and their team. So internally, I'm going to work with you, and then I'm going to work with improving your team. Externally, I can work with you to help you improve your position in your space. So there's a lot of people that want more attention. Well, how do we do that? Well, we can do writing. We can do different engagements to where we can improve your presence in that space. I want to be known as the guy in X, Y, and Z. Well, we want to help you with that, and we want to just try to build out this plan of what does that look like? What is your goal? What is the objective? And then reverse engineer it all the way out to where we have daily targets, we have weekly missions, we've got a monthly focus. So all these different things that if you just stack on top of stacks, you're going to be able to get somewhere and hopefully achieve that objective.
So when you're talking about internally, and you mentioned teams too, is that almost like, for some reason I use this reference a lot, and it makes me think about second guess my self is Al-Anon. But I say that because Al-Anon is a program that the families of alcoholics go to deal with the alcoholic. So when you say internalizing your team, is that like speaking with the team on how to better receive and deal with your leader versus just dealing with the leader on how to communicate with the team?
Yeah, absolutely. Right? That's one of the biggest things is the leader communicates the vision. And then what happens after the vision is created?
So how am I receiving that as an employee?
Yes. And then what do I want to do? Are the standards made for me to excel really, really well? And if they are, then all the leader's job is to help push and guide them to achieving those standards. A lot of times we fail on the vision, or we create this vision, hey, it's got to be this, and then the standards or the rules that we create aren't held. And they're not held on our end. So
they're not living up to our own standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then everybody sees it.
Right. Well, because there's the biggest gap in leadership in general, especially let's talk about coaching. Sports coaching, I think, is probably where the biggest gap is. Coach sportsing? Is it sports coaching?
There we go.
Is a huge gap in the sense of it's very much do as I say, not as I do. There's very few basketball coaches. I don't think Phil Jackson's out there with his team at his age running around. Now, Steve Kerr's probably still shooting with the kids, right? Like when you're young in there, but like later on in the career, you're probably not doing that. So, or maybe NFL is a good example, right? There's probably not a lot of NFL coaches out there in pads. So how do you close that gap of being a leader or helping someone be a leader without being able to get in the trenches, get their hands dirty?
Yeah. Well, I think it's defining what the trenches would be considered. If you look at today's collegiate level, so we can look at pros too. I mean, there's very few pro coaches outside of Andy Reid that are probably not in shape. If you look at every college level Division I football coach, they are in
jacked. Yeah.
shape.
Right.
Well, that's trenches. So no, they're not putting on football pads, but their players are seeing them work out. There's like they're not working out at 4 a.m., 4:45 like I am when nobody's watching. The coaches are intent on, hey, this player needs to see me go through some sweat. This player needs to see me put in the work.
My high school coaches were like that too.
Yeah.
They were really good about that stuff.
And what did that do? That helped you, that helped propel you and go, okay, well, he's calling me on that. Now, to go with that, there are other standards at which I call out coaching and coaches. There's a double standard there.
Okay.
So if you're calling a coach out and saying, hey, look, guess what? Kids, college players, you can't drink. No drinking the night before a game. Like, absolutely, that's the rule. And then they see you out. Well, that's a double standard. Yeah. So if you're not gonna have a standard, hold a standard between your team, it doesn't make sense that that you can expect it from them.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Like I wouldn't take physical fitness advice from someone who's grossly obese.
Yes.
I wouldn't listen to and I often say this because like a lot of people like when I try and talk to you about selling you stuff. Financial planners, for example. I'm always like, okay, what are you driving? What are you wearing? And I don't say that in the sense of like, I would expect them not to have a Lamborghini if they're a financial advisor, right? Like if they're out there in a sensible sedan, I'm like, it's probably as good as money because if you got
right.
brand new shoes on, but he's driving like a 5-year-old Lincoln,
yeah.
I'm like, this dude probably knows what he's talking about.
That's probably, yeah.
Versus if he's like in their broiler room style, all flashy and thrashy, or just looking like a straight bum. But it's hard to tell. Like when you look like Warren Buffett. Remember there was an old meme with it was like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And they just looked like home ec teachers.
Yep. They wear the same thing every day.
Yeah. And it was like, this is like over $40 billion in this photograph and not a Gucci belt in sight.
Yeah.
Because like, you never know.
Correct.
You never know.
Correct. One thing, actually, somebody pointed this out. A really successful guy pointed out. He said, you can always tell somebody and how successful they are by their fingers, by their nails. Are they keeping their fingers up to code, up to standard? And let me tell you, I'm not. So I don't get manicures, but he said
I don't get manicures.
You're not gonna see too many people who aren't clean on the hands and successful.
But do you have to get manicures to clip your nails? That's not the same, right?
I mean, they make them.
I feel like I have clean hands, but there's a little calluses. You can tell it.
That's work.
This guy does some work.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah, there's one side and the other.
They're super soft though. Like they're callous, but they're really soft. Like you can tell I'm not like working all day on like a farm.
Yeah.
Because they're gentle. I've been told I have soft skin many a times. And every time feels worse than the last. I'm like, I don't take that as a compliment. So, all right. So you're leading by example, holding your own standards. So you go over that with them. What do you go over with a team? What do you go? Because it's almost like couples counseling, but in the sense that I've always thought couples counseling is bunk. I always think that if a couple's having issues, no, I shouldn't say always. I recently learned that that's bunk. Because if a couple's having issues, that means probably I gotta go work on me and you go work on you. So how do you break that down for the team where it's like, okay, in order for these two entities to communicate better, how do you go work with the team then and talk about the team interacting with the leader?
Yeah. Number one, we call it the evidence of excellence. I took this from Mike Neighbors. Mike Neighbors is a brilliant basketball coach, was at University of Arkansas till recently left.
Is his slogan, I live next door to everyone?
I don't know. Was it?
Should be.
Because he's Arkansas?
Because Mike Neighbors.
Oh, Mike Neighbors, yeah. He was also at Washington, University of Washington Huskies. Okay. So I think he coached Kelsey Plum when she was in college. And they call it the evidence of excellence. And it's one of the things that I pass on to everybody. So whether it's a business, it's a parent, it's a coach of a sport, the evidence of excellence are what does, if you want to, let's go 4 levels. So you have the collegiate, we'll go college,
Okay.
the All-American. So he has the entire team say, okay, tell me what an All-American looks like. Now, if you've been a loser and you've been on losing teams, you don't know what an All-American looks like.
Sure.
If you're around somebody, you know what an All-American looks like. So then they're given the character attributes, they're giving the actions, the behaviors of what an All-American looks like. What does it look like
So
in
not
the
just that
gym?
he's coming off the field and he's running a sub 4.4, but you're talking about like,
Oh, what's it look like in the weight room?
Yeah.
What does it look like in the cafeteria? What does it look like in the or in the training room? What does it look like in the hallways? You know, like all these different on the bus. What does an All-American
yeah,
look
they're
like?
not usually targeted class or getting into dumb shit at school.
Correct. So they're saying, okay, well, this is the behavior. Okay, great. Well, then tell me what's a starter look like. What is the behaviors of a starter? Well, they're going to be drastically different. And then we'll go with we'll call it a line right underneath the starter. Then you've got somebody who just barely, who makes the team.
Your 6th and 7th guy, or are you talking about all the way down to the third string?
Number 10. We'll just go to number 10 for
string.
basketball sake.
Okay.
What do those behaviors look like? And then the 4th one is the one that gets cut, the one people don't remember. What do those behaviors look like? So they dive into everything. So all these areas, what do those 4 things look like? And the players, the team members, the employees go through this and go, this is what it looks like. So now all you're going to do is hold the standard and go, hey, Corey, come into my office real quick. I had a phone call about how you were in cafeteria. Bring your evidence of excellence book. What are you going to do, coach? I know. Were you an All-American today? No. Were you acting like you're going to get cut? Yeah. Okay. And the player is going to know I'm not holding it to the standard. Mm-hmm. So now because he made, and it might even be the player, he can call out, that player made that exact standard. You made that standard. And now you're not holding to it. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things like if you can create this evidence of excellence and what that looks like, man, oh man, can you create some powerful teams that execute at a high level.
Yeah, I have that same kind of, didn't call it that ever, but a similar way that I deal with Tyson, right? Like when there's a mistake made, we talk about it as a mistake. Here's the lesson. Consequence happens next time, because then when that mistake now becomes something you've consciously done, when you know it's a mistake, I ask him at that moment, like, okay, I'm taking, let's call it his phone. I'm taking your phone away. Is this because of a decision I made or because of a decision you made? It's because of a decision I made. Did you know this was wrong? Yes. So we agree that there's no room for you to argue, stomp, cry, get upset that I'm taking your phone away because this was a conscious decision that you made after we've talked about what's right or wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that a lot of leaders and parents, I've done it too, where we don't, we get pissed at something we never made a standard. I can't, how could you have not
I used to
done
do
the
that
dishes?
as a parent. A lot. And I still do, I'm sure. But I'm very much more conscious nowadays, in the last 2 years of my growth period, which you've known Tyson probably right at that peak when you can probably attest to the difference in energy, or just any kids, right? Like when my energy changed, his energy changed. Mm-hmm. I no longer waited for him to mess up so I could jump on it. Mm-hmm. I expected him to do great, and then we talked about when he made mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that's the important thing.
And did it calmly.
Absolutely.
Versus me being like, ah.
That's what's so crucial. We call them ghost rules. So if both sides don't know it, then it's a ghost rule. Yeah. It's just something that's not there, but you think it is. Mm-hmm. And I used to get, my kid is now 18, and so I would get pissed at him. But it was something that I realized, guess what? I didn't make the standard.
Yeah, because we already knew right or wrong, but when did we learn it? 25 years ago?
Yeah. So no matter what, everybody listening, let's focus on trying to get rid of ghost rules. Let's get rid of this idea and set some standards. And if there's something you get pissed, it's a direct reflection of leadership. I'm getting pissed at this kid, at my kid, for what? I need to look at what did I do? What did I do
Or did
poorly?
I teach him this at all?
Did I not tell him about the standard?
Yeah.
And so, it's a challenge, and I think that it's really, really important.
That's a great adaptation in business too, because as a business owner, I can tell you that there's been high levels of frustration before within this company or my last company, because there was not a standardized expectations list versus delivery list, right? Like, do this, I'll do that. You do this, I'll do that. This is what I expect if I ask this. If I say this broad thing, I'm a huge perpetrator of not understanding that everybody lives inside my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's taken a long time to really break down and categorize out, whether it's personal relationships, fatherhood, business relationships, romantic relationships even,
Yeah.
right? If you don't set your boundaries, talk your standards, and then you can't have a difficult conversation, and then you have all this angst, all this frustration, for what? For something that nobody knew that's how they press your buttons? It's not fair to that other person.
Yeah.
Or you, because then you have that chip.
Yeah.
Right? Now I'm angry for something that I never talked with Jason about that makes me angry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like think about like the kid in the neighborhood that like couldn't get wet during the summer. Like
Don't let my baby near water.
Like they would wear his good clothes out. Like we all had that friend that would wear his good clothes and be like, God, I can't get this wet. I can't get this wet. And you're like, well, why'd you wear it to this squirt gun fight?
Yeah.
Right? Like you didn't know any better? Like you knew you were going to get wet, dude.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't get mad if you, in the middle of a squirt gun fight, you throw a water balloon at me and I'm wearing my new Nautica polo, because you don't know that that's my new Nautica polo. You would assume as an individual that Corey wouldn't wear his good polo out here.
Yeah.
But if you don't know that, that makes a lot of sense. It carries over in a lot of things of like ghost rules. I like ghost rules.
And you just you gave me an idea, and let's highlight Sam real quick.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody does something excellent, how can you get that down on paper quicker? So we talk about daily debriefs. If you can do maybe you do a 5-minute stand-up meeting at the beginning of the day talking about, hey, this is what we're trying to do. This is the objective, boom, boom. But then you do a 5-minute debrief. And at the end of the day, you talk about the sustains and the improves, right? Mm-hmm. But what if immediately you could address excellence? And when somebody like Sam does something amazing in terms of chopping the video, hey, we got to get that down on paper. And the reason why we got to get that down on paper is because we now want that replicated. So how do we do that? What could we do? So when you see excellence, find a way to get that down on paper so that now the rest of the team can go, man, that's how it is. Maybe he words it a certain way. Maybe he chops the video up a certain way that's just phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Well, let's get it down. So then everybody else knows it. So instead of, you're creating a book, just like if you get fired, you want the other person to succeed. But if you could start creating that...
Well, it depends on why I got fired and who that other person is. Yeah.
If you stepped away.
Yeah. I got fired, I'm taking you with me, you son of a bitch. Like, he did it too. No, yeah, that makes sense. So not just because that's probably another commonality where you can take a macro and a micro approach to it, because in life, oftentimes, and I'll go ahead and designate this as, not that women don't experience this, but I think especially as men, let me just get more narrow. I remember the criticisms a lot more than I remember the compliments. And as a man, I've always thought it was my job to be humble about the compliments and not accept those, almost even when saying thank you, like not really absorbing them. And when receiving a criticism, beating myself up over it and going and trying to figure out how I can be better next time, because I'm supposed to man up. Mm-hmm. Don't ask for help. Just go figure it out. Right? So like a performance of excellence or documenting excellence in the moment, I think would be highly beneficial to individuals too.
Yeah.
Like if you take a compliment, I've received, I talked about this on Ashley Malin's show, within the last 2 years is like the only time I can really recall receiving compliments outside of false compliments or like somebody trying to sell me something that wasn't a family member. And how cool would it be as an individual if Jason, every time he received a compliment of excellence, wrote it down in his journal. And then when you're feeling down, could go back and look and be like, you know what? I have a lot of people there. Because I've often talked about how you would randomly text, or we would randomly text each other different things that just the other guys in this club, like, hey, I'm proud of you today, or good job, or that was cool, right? And like, think about documenting those and then trying to stack that up against all the bullshit criticism you've had.
Yeah. Yeah. I took that thought process from Goggins. So same thing.
Okay.
He called it the cookie jar. So it's one of those things like, you remember back in the day, they'd put the cookie jar right on top of the refrigerator and you'd have to reach in there and sneak your cookie in without mom or grandma looking. But inside there was goodness, right? So what if we had the same exact thing and you just tore away all these different times you won?
Yeah.
All the times that we're still standing, so we clearly won a whole lot more than we lost.
Sure.
So if we can write down all those times we won, tear them up, put them in the thing, and then guess what? I'm struggling today. And this past week was a real struggle for me. I've had a couple bad days, but I'm able, and yesterday I was actually able to go into the cookie jar as a result of a mentor and pull one of those out and be like, okay, no more.
Well, and you show up
good.
too, right? Like, you have a routine. It's important to show up, because I've looked at it as when I turned that corner in my life, as I have bad moments. Sometimes I have bad days, but I don't look at it as a bad day as long as I got my routine in. Because tomorrow, even if you had a crappy day today, you are physically stronger, you're emotionally more aware, and you're spiritually stronger. Because I know my routine involves praying in gratitude. I'm sure yours does too. But and talk about cookies. I used to have a creative way when you think about getting ahead, and it was just pure coincidence. It wasn't calculated as a child, but I was told I could get 3 cookies. Oreos was our cookie that was usually on hand.
Yeah.
And I would count them out: 1, 2, 3. So I would have 6 cookies. And because of the way I counted them out, my grandmother used to be like, okay, like, creative, funny, cool, keep the 6. My grandfather would always call me out. He goes, that's 6. And I'm like, no, look. And I was like real adamant because I didn't understand math. But I was like, no, there's 1, 2, 3. He said, I have 3 cookies. And I counted them out. And so like that was, I think about that because sometimes the disconnect between, let's call the grandparents the leaders and the team, is a misunderstanding. And so when you're closing those gaps on leadership and teamwork, what kind of clarification is important to put in place of understanding request versus delivery?
I think number one, everything's about, okay, did we establish a standard, right?
Okay.
And then
so that's a leadership thing.
Yeah. And then the ability to give and receive feedback. So that's going to be the case, is understanding is, how did I relay my message to you? Because if you didn't hear it, if trust wasn't involved, it's not going to work. If the standard wasn't involved, it's not going to work. If the expectation was not involved, it's not going to work. So if all these components, they're all a bunch of components, they all got to go together in order for that to work. Short term, you can go fear. You can go, hey, this is how it is. This is my way or the highway, which in coaching nowadays, everybody's seeing that most people are seeing that it doesn't work that way. That's the wrong attitude.
Well, because 90% of today's people will choose the highway also.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right? I think that's the difference between leadership in that sense and parenting, is because then you didn't have a choice. Like, I remember my grandfather giving my oldest son one time $20 because he cleaned out the gutters when he was younger. And I was like, $20? You never gave me a dime for anything. Why did you get $20?
Yeah.
He's like, you had food and clothes, didn't you? And I was like, ooh. Yeah, I get it.
Good point.
Yeah. Because like the way it used to be is like what you're saying now is like, there didn't have to be a standard. The ghost rules could exist because I'm letting you exist. But it doesn't work that way in business. You're not letting me do anything as an employee. You've given me an opportunity. It's my job to meet that opportunity with performance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But is that going to happen? If leadership isn't involved, you meeting it because I gave you an opportunity isn't something that's going to last.
Well, not especially like what you're saying, which is why I like the idea that you coach both sides of the coin, is because how can someone live up to a standard that hasn't been created? It's like chasing an invisible star.
Yeah.
You never catch
we've
it.
been on those teams. We've been on those teams
Yeah,
when it didn't
I've
happen.
led those teams. I've been the leader in that position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, so that's why I say I like that, because there used to never be a thought process of ask the team if there's a clear understanding. When we were first forming this thing, it was like, we would have these meetings and be like, great. And then like, I remember there was an outside observer who was like, I don't know if your team knows what the hell they're supposed to do next. And I was like, oh yeah, because not everybody lives inside my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll sputter out all this stuff and I have like, okay, let's go do this.
Yeah.
But everybody else is like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to bring in a person for that.
That helps.
It helps.
Somebody who's really good at that.
Yeah.
And that's, you're part of a leader, is seeing your gaps, you know, and understanding, hey man, you know.
I've learned from that too.
Yeah.
Now I've learned like, okay, there's certain things where like, how can I get upset about something that I've never made clear? Mm-hmm. Whereas before I would be like, feel fully validated in being upset about something I never made clear.
Yeah.
Because it upset me. And
Yeah.
that everybody's supposed to accept that feeling from me. Mm-hmm. And that's not fair at all either. So there was a lot of like things. I mean, this last year has been nuts. Mm-hmm. Like understanding and growth.
Yeah, I heard Dr. Jason Wilson say something, and he wrote Battle Cry. He wrote The Man, The Moment Demands. He's got some Netflix episode or series that's really phenomenal on helping young kids. And he talks about that men have this idea, or there's this misconstrued idea that men have to be angry or they have to be silent in a stoic fashion. But both of those don't do anything for us.
Yeah.
Both of those are killing us.
There's no jovial.
There's just no, like, we don't get to relay emotions. We don't get to display emotions. We don't, it's one of these two things. And if I get super angry, well, that's not going to go well for anybody. Mm-hmm. And if I stay quiet, then it goes inside here. And so it bottles up. And then what happens when we shake that damn Dr. Pepper bottle with a Mentos thing? It's going.
That's a huge light bulb for me, because that's probably why there's so many what we refer to as man children, right? Like way more than women. Men into our later years, I feel like I didn't start growing up until 40 because and I didn't ever think of it that way. Mm-hmm. But when you have those two emotions to me, with the way you said it just now, that's fight and that's flight. Mm-hmm. And neither one of those are conflict resolution driven. Mm-hmm. I'm either going to be quiet and shut down, or I'm going to fight you emotionally without basis or logic. Mm-hmm. And neither one of those get you to a better point.
Yeah. And if you think about
that's all we've been taught as men, like no wonder there's so many of us grown idiots running around trying to navigate life without any understanding.
Angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's ignorance, right?
Yeah.
And ignorance by the definition, not to say like, oh, that's ignorant. You're ignorant. Like ignorant, like lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge. And what does society portray it? Like it's almost, that's why they talk about toxic masculinity.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we need less men. That's BS.
No.
We need more men under control.
Under control.
We need more men to display a warrior, to display somebody who's calm, not quiet. There's a difference between calm and quiet.
Yeah, if you see a woman get punched on the subway, you step in instead of pulling out your phone.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Like that kind of shit blows my mind sometimes.
Blows my mind. I saw there was another video, and you watch one.
Yeah.
Stupid algorithms out. Yeah. And and I
toxic masculinity is I blow up because you're not meeting my expectations that I never made clear. Mm-hmm. True masculinity and masculinity that I don't think we should lose is I stick up for those who can't stick up for themselves. I protect people who can't protect themselves. 100%. I calmly discuss a situation that needs being addressed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are great points. I like the way you put that. I don't know if it's not very profound, but it is when you say that we have two moods that are acceptable as men is quiet, stoic, and angry.
Let's be real that's not stoic. That's
quiet.
That's
okay,
the excuse.
So shutting down.
That is the excuse that we will say.
Yeah.
And I do it all. My wife has called me out on it. That I go into quiet. Mm-hmm. And some people from the outside looking in are going to go, man, you looked very stoic. No, thanks. So this stoic part is what we like to say to ourselves that that's what's happening.
Is it fear-based, do you think?
And it's everything. It's ego-based.
Well, ego-based
and it's fear-based.
too. But a lot of fear, right? Because you don't want to, either you don't want to blow up or you don't want to be wrong. So ego, I guess, ego-based.
Yeah. Well, and then there's the vulnerability piece. There are two superpowers that we have. And it's not, and I don't mean men and women, but men, let's focus on that, because this is mental.
Yeah.
No. Our superpowers are emotional regulation and vulnerability. And if we can emotionally regulate, so if the power between the pause and stimulus, right? That whole idea of, hey, this happened, so my time frame of reaction to response, if there is a pause in between, then we can be emotionally regulated.
Which is a big one for me, something I've worked on. You've seen me flip switches.
Yeah.
Too, right? Because lived most of my life in a fight or flight state because I never dealt with certain traumas. So I was always very defensive about everything. And I took everything personally. When I'm like, oh yeah, this person, they may not have meant this way. Yet to me, it was a deeply personal attack. And a lot of times it would take people off guard. And like, I feel like I got to walk on eggshells because I don't even feel like I can have a regular conversation with you without you being defensive.
Yeah.
So I struggled with that a lot. Far less now than I did, but that was probably, I would say, my biggest downfall in communication with other individuals was everything that you said that I didn't like or didn't know or didn't understand or whatever. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, a lot of society right now is really triggered by that. And you can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I disagree with you. That must mean you hate me. No, it's okay. Like, we need to get more ideas out there. We need to actually have more disagreement.
Sure, but we can't control other people, right? No. Like we probably both of our sons. Like I can't control that he smacked you in the face. I can help you control how you react to that.
Maybe.
Right.
And that's all by our demonstration, right? So he's got to see it. We got to talk through it. We got to understand.
I gave him permission last year to punch a kid. He'd gotten to that point. There was a lot of it. Ultimately, he said he couldn't. He was like, I just don't know if I can hurt somebody on purpose.
It's not on purpose.
Yeah, I was like, that's admirable. I was like, it just takes one time. Like a kid your age, like just draw blood once.
Yeah.
Everybody else in your grade will be like, oh. And you wait till high school, they've all seen it. Yeah. You do it in grade school one time, you'll forever know it as like, don't mess with him.
Yeah.
No matter what you turn into.
Yeah.
Just because of one good punch to the nose.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll back you up. He's like, I'll get suspended. I'm like, I got you.
Yeah.
Do it.
And I think that's really important is I taught Emmett to just take him to the ground.
Yeah.
As soon as you take him to the ground, it's over. And then get up and step away.
Now, and this is probably after several things, right? Because I tried conflict resolution. We talked to the teachers. We talked to their parents.
Yeah.
Talked to this kid-on-kid stuff. And it was still going. And so I was like, you know what? At this point, bloody his nose.
Yeah. Well, and we did that in college. We would actually tell our coaches, okay, coach, you guys got to go to the equipment room. And they knew what that meant. Close the doors. Keep the doors closed. Nobody can get in or out of the gym. And our team would circle up. And the two that had the biggest issue would fight. But what happened after the fight? It was over. Soon as it gets done and finished, boom, we're done. Knock on the equipment room door. The coaches come back out and we're ready to rock. And a lot of times that's all it is. It's just that instant, he's got some fight in him. He's got whatever. Hey, it's cleared up. Sometimes, and I don't always approve of that, but I do think when the measures are done, that is an important thing. We need to be, as men, I firmly believe, stoics, yes. But we need to have this idea that I might be kind, but you do not want to cross me. So that's the presence we want to give, which isn't an ego-based. I want to protect myself. I'm going to protect my family. I'm going to do this and this. Don't cross me.
And it's a controlled chaos.
Yes.
Like I think it's important, like to see me baby lions fight. Like boys, we grew up wrestling around doing stuff because you need to learn your limits too. You need to understand your limits and how far you can take something. Because if you've never been into one of those until that time comes, then that's the people that don't have a stopping point.
Yeah.
Those are sometimes the guys who, involuntary manslaughter and stuff because they just don't get where that stopping point is or how to come back. Or the kid who needs to seek vengeance now because he got beat up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we didn't have that stuff growing up. We didn't have school shootings and all that jazz. And it's because we knew how to regulate because we weren't soft-handled all the time.
Yeah.
Now, I think the counter to that is because of those things, we understand conflict resolution as we get older too. That I don't need to fight because I know what I'm capable of,
yes.
and I know what you may be capable of. So now we can, because we went through those processes, now we can say, okay, let's have a conversation about this because neither one of us needs to let this out and understand that.
Right.
I mean, shit, at our age, no matter what your training is, like you're paying a bill.
Yeah.
We both lose either way. One of us goes to the hospital, one of us goes to jail. And no matter which one of those there is, we're paying either bail or hospital bills. Everybody loses at our age,
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah.
Like now, if it's a defense situation with family or whatever, yeah. But outside of that, like you called me a bad name at a bar and spit in my face, like, okay, well, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to go home and everybody in that bar is going to think whatever you called me is what I am and I got spit on my face, but I'm taking my ass home. Mm-hmm. Whereas before at like 22, I'd have been like, if somebody stepped on my sneaker, I'm like, you don't disrespect me.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So, but I learned all that to say, I say all that to say is that I learned that through combat, through like, okay, we deal with this, and then after we deal with it, it's dealt with. Mm-hmm. Win, lose, or draw, like back on the bikes. Let's go. So, that is thing. So, one of the things I like to do at the end, as we wrap up these conversations, is one, thank you for your time and coming in, for further explaining what you do on working with teams and coaching. But I like to talk about, I have a question for you too, but I like to talk about what I took away from this. And what I took away from this is I'm going to really dive deep into the understanding of like the two standardized modes of manhood: quiet, shut down, or angry. Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, while that was so simple, that hit, maybe it was today that I needed to hear that one thing. You know, like if you go to church and like you ask somebody after church, like, what'd you take away from today? All three of us, Sam included, we could all probably say something different.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes it's like a broad spectrum of like, it's exactly what I need to hear today. So thank you for that. And the second thing I like to do is I like to ask you a question. And I feel like I already know the answer for once out of all of my guests. Do you have a mantra saying, something that keeps you going when you need that extra boost, when you don't have the motivation? Because you understand better than most, motivation is fake. Yeah. Right? You create motivation. Dedication, consistency is what's real. But what is your mantra? What is your thing?
I would actually probably say there's two of them. Because one, under the breath, is going to be a prayer.
Okay.
And it's, Lord, help me. And a lot of times when we say that prayer, the answer that he gives you is more of that. Mm-hmm. Lord, help me with patience. And what am I going to get? I'm not going to get patient all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I'm going to get more experiences where I need to practice patience.
Yeah.
My kid might do more stuff. The kids at school are going to be a whole lot more crazy and chaotic. I'm going to get those opportunities. So when we ask for something, we have to expect, hey, the opposite is going to come so that I can practice it.
Sure.
So Lord help me is definitely one of them. And then the other we created was do hard shit. Tell Sam I'm sorry. But do hard shit was, I even battled this with my mom, there was no other word but that. Mm-hmm. Simply because, my brother has a son who was born with special needs. Hydrocephalus, fluid in the brain. And there's no other word. Like, for a shitty situation. People have cancer. Just found out that a friend is dying. There's no other word for that. Mm. And everybody's going through something extremely hard. And so the do hard shit was a reminder that you're going through it. You're going through something else. Sam's going through something else. It's all hard. But if we come together, we can accomplish the hard. We can push through and we can make it on the other side of hard. Mm-hmm. And so that was the framing. So no matter what, it's a physical experience. I got to go do some hard shit so that I can be better and come out of this. Having a difficult conversation with somebody. Dude, that's hard. That's scarier than going and climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah.
It's gonna be extremely difficult, and because I need to actually have that. And the hard things are the things we actually need to do. We need to experience. We need to go through. So those two are mine. Lord, help me. Lord, help me do some hard shit every morning. Because I don't think working out is hard. But showing up.
It's showing up to do it.
Showing up in the morning is the hard part.
Yeah.
So those are my two.
If it was easy, everybody would do it. We would walk around in a planet full of He-Mans and She-Ras.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Looking forward to having you on again. And by the time this comes out, we'll be really close to, we're going to be doing a workshop together here at Adventure Unknown to talk about building brands, building teams, and we very much look forward to that. So that's going to be on October 1st, right here in the same building we shoot these podcasts in. So we look forward to seeing you guys then. Thank you to my guest, Jason Fry, and keep doing hard shit. TRT treatment is something that's widely thought of as something that just gives you an edge. That extra beast mode in the gym, a little bit of push when it's needed, or just that testosterone feeling, right? But in actuality, TRT treatment goes way deeper than that. It helps keep you calm. It helps keep you patient. It regulates your mood by regulating your hormones. It's not just a treatment to go beast mode. It's a treatment to be a calmer and better father. As a business owner and a father myself, I understand all too well how much it's needed to become a little more patient and a little more calm in a world that's pretty chaotic. Go check out Prime Performance today.